if I was to be doing real estate and even made less money than I made, I would still be happy because I'm free. I'm doing what I was designed to do.
Tell me what's the move today? Swerving through the lanes in the Chevrolet. Can't be worried about shit that happened yesterday. Tryna hit another level, gotta elevate. Running up the bag now.
Yo, what's up, everybody? You got me, Shiller, aka One Coach Shay.
And you got me, Bella, aka Diamond Boy. And today we have a very special guest.
Very special guest.
Arguably one of the richest guests we had thus far. Folaji.
Yo, what's good, my guys, my fellas, man? Thank you for inviting me to the show, man.
Of course,
Pleasure.
man. Thank you.
Blessing to be here, man.
Yeah, thanks. Let's take a cheers. Let's
Yes.
toast. What we toasting to?
Success.
More money.
More money. I like
This
that.
episode,
Amen.
more properties.
I like
Amen.
that.
In
I need
Jesus'
that.
name.
Yeah, so this time we're gonna do things a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do either or.
Yeah.
So you just pick either or.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start off.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start off with the basics, right?
Okay.
So for you, would you rather invest in Apple or Tesla?
That's an
And
interesting
why?
one. That's an interesting one. All right, so I think I'm gonna go with Apple, yo. I just think Elon is a weird guy, yo.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
he's
saying?
off a bit.
Yeah, I mean he's a visionary and everything, but just to be honest, and sometimes I don't look at things just like core just business. Like,
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that you could be doing something real cool and great, but if I just don't like you as a person, then I'm not gonna do that. So for me, it's Apple, yo.
Okay, Shay, what you got?
I mean, personally, I was gonna say Apple just because I have an iPhone. I have an Apple Watch.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna, stick to that. So I would say Apple. And I think that's on Warren Buffett's top 10 stock holding anyway. So I'm just gonna follow what he's doing anyway. So yeah, I would go for Apple too as well.
I guess I'll answer my own question. I'm gonna take the opposite side from you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
He loves
Tesla.
Elon. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
I like Elon too.
Actually, I think he's a weird guy. He's
Yeah.
off, but it's usually those rich guys that are a bit off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So back in, I believe, like 2019, this is when Apple and Tesla actually did a split.
Right.
So I was at this time I was doing like a programming boot camp.
Yeah.
And everybody in the cohort that I was in was talking about it. And I had like a lump sum of money at the time. So I was like,
Cash.
all right, I'm gonna make a choice. Either I'm gonna do a little bit in Apple, a little bit in Tesla, or all in on Apple, all in on Tesla. So I was talking to the guys in the cohort, like, what you think, you know what I mean? Trying to gauge what other people are thinking, you know what I mean? And one white guy, if you're ever watching, I would never forgive you. But he was like, man, Tesla ain't gonna, like Elon, he's a mess. Tesla ain't ever gonna be anything. So I don't know why, but I listened to him. So I went all in on Apple.
Yeah.
And ever since I went all in, ever since like the stock split, it's just been going down. It's just been going down. Even though obviously Apple's probably like a long-term hold.
Yeah. For sure.
But this is before Tesla took the spike. You know what I mean? So it went from like, I don't even know, but people were seeing crazy returns with Tesla.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was very upset and hating on people who own Tesla and all that. So yeah, I would go with Tesla just because I feel like Elon has a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
For sure.
He's definitely he likes to push the envelope.
Yeah.
He likes to he's very innovative. So I feel like, you know, it's more than just a car.
Right.
It's really just tech. You know what I mean? So, and with tech, I feel like tech is really the future. So
Yeah.
I feel like,
Apple
you know,
is tech too, though.
Yeah,
Apple is tech.
Yeah.
So.
But Apple does, like, Apple is one of them companies where you don't like them, but you can't not like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't like how if you have an iPhone 6 now, everything gets all buggy, your phone acts stupid, gets slow, or, you know, it forces you to get a new one.
Yeah.
And then it forces you to buy a phone every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you have to have an iPhone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Well, you don't have to have an iPhone. I mean, they got competitors, right? So you got
Like what?
Samsung.
Samsung. People are not doing that.
So you-
Except for like, see, everybody here has an iPhone, right? Yeah, everybody here has an iPhone. So it's only like the older folks that probably.
But again, that also goes to kind of Apple's success, right? Because there was a time where it was like you getting the latest Android,
Yeah.
the latest Samsung.
Yeah, right.
But now you see that they're kind of dominating the market.
Oh, yeah.
and increasing the gap.
Yeah.
So
But I don't know why the stock isn't really doing too well
you guys are stock guys, man. I'm real estate guys. So I can't speak to that.
compared to what it was doing. The stock isn't doing. I don't know what it's based off of, you know.
Yeah.
But to me, the stock ain't really doing what it's supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? I was losing weekly.
Which one, Tesla or Apple?
No, Apple.
Apple.
You know what I mean? No stocks is really doing well.
Yeah.
You know, as a whole. But,
Since 2021.
But yeah, it wasn't just doing well. So I actually took my
Yeah.
I sold
Yeah.
and I went on something else. But yeah, I wasn't messing with Apple, and I don't regret it.
Yeah. Me neither.
You know, but I know they did make a move, some healthcare move about like your glucose level, or they did something. You know, so they're making moves, but it's not reflecting.
Right.
So you know, I'll wait until then. But yeah, Shay,
Yeah.
any
No. I was gonna. It was a couple things I was gonna ask. I meant mention, but like so like Tesla, like pre-pandemic, Tesla was trading at like $40-something,
yeah.
and then went up. As high as it did. What
Like
was it, like
8.
3,000?
Nah, I think it went up to like 8.
1,000?
Nah, it didn't reach up. Almost 1,000.
Oh, almost 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you did what you had to do, then you know what I mean. There it is. But the next one I had to ask. So, real estate or stocks, and why? If you had to choose to invest in.
Interesting question, man. So for me, it's going to be real estate, right? And that's because that's what I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's funny because I took this class in trading maybe about a year ago. Really good class. Talked about trading and trading options and stuff like that. So, I'm learning all these things and I'm like, yo, I want to trade. Like, she was like, trade with paper money first. I'm like, nah, I don't need no paper money. So I start trading, and I didn't abide to the number one rule, which she was like, take your profits often, early and often, right?
Yeah.
But I'm seeing those numbers ride up.
Yeah.
I want to let it ride. And that was my downfall. So, I was like, let me stick to what I know and let the other folks do that. Like, my wife is really into stocks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? That's where you can actually be a team. Like, you do stocks, I do real estate.
Right.
We good. Right?
Divide and conquer.
Yeah. No, good question, though, man.
What about you, Deli?
Shit, I do both. I would do both.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, I'll say stocks / crypto. And why? Because I like quick money. You know what I mean? You could press a button. And I guess timing has, a part to play in it, but you can literally, let's just transfer some money over. Like it's like a bank transfer to your Robinhood account or whatever you may use. Put money into, let's say, I don't know, let's say Mike's Hard Lemonade app, stock. And for some reason it's going up and you can make $1,000 in a week, a month. You can make $10,000 in a week or a month. You know what I mean? It's easy, it's passive, it doesn't require too much. But real estate, and this is why I'm so excited for this episode. For people who don't really know much about it,
Yeah.
it can be scary. You know, as far as you see $100,000 cribs.
Yeah.
You see, okay, 3.5%, 20%, people who can't really do math. You know, the numbers can be very scary. Then you need people who know how to do the work, contractors. Then you have, like Shayla just went on IG. He made a reel about tenants.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, I don't really I feel like I'm already stressed out enough. It's just added on stress. But stocks is just like, it's like a game on your phone. You know what I mean? So that's why I would choose stocks over real estate. But, you know, real estate is you need it. So
I mean, to answer my own question, if I had to choose, I would definitely choose real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, I'm
the oddball out.
I like stocks because it's liquid, it's fast. You can, you know what I mean. You can multiply your money and things like that. But real estate is something that. So I always think about like America's for sale. Like it's, you know, there's no more land that's undiscovered. You know, this is what it is, and if you can own enough, you know what I mean, and the value is only going to go up over time and things like that. So it's not. There was this. I was reading this book by Peter Lynch, one of the really successful investors, and one of the things that he said before you invest in stocks, do you have real estate? Because you know it's almost guaranteed that you're going to make some money in real estate, and not maybe on the cash flow portion of it, but the appreciation, because more than likely it's going to go up over in time, and that's just how it goes. So like for me personally, and then when you think about generational wealth and passing down, you know, property and stuff like that, because people are always going to need a place to stay. Companies come and go. There's a lot of companies that's here today weren't here 30 years ago and things like that, that's popping and things like that. So I mean, for me, that's why I would choose real estate. But I do like stocks as like a multiplier. Like, you know, if I want to turn 1,000 to 3,000, okay, 3,000 to 6,000, okay, I'm going to use that money and then I'm going to take it, then I'm going to sell, and then I'm going to put it in real estate. So that's how I kind of use it as things. But if I had to choose, I'm choosing real estate. It's nothing like there's nothing like investing in something, pulling up, driving to it, and be like, yo, that's me. You know, like it's nothing. You know, it's nothing like it. So I would choose real estate.
Yeah. I guess I'm a bit different because these two have properties. I don't have a property yet. I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I guess you guys will know the result, right?
Yeah.
Of getting a property.
Yeah.
The feeling of getting a property, owning it, versus me that just only know stocks and crypto
But
or whatever.
I will say you sleep better if you only own stocks.
But I know we don't talk about that. I don't know if I agree with that, Shay, and we're gonna talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I guess we can start to dive into it now.
Yeah.
So, speaking of real estate, you know, we have a guy here that I've known for the past, since I was a kid. You know what I mean? It's crazy how life
is crazy.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. Oh my God. You know, I look at him as a big cousin.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I always see him at like family parties, you know. But the biggest memory I have is he took me to the circus. I don't know if you remember.
Of course.
Yeah, he took me to the circus, and then that's when we got like close. And I think I was like 10 years old at this time. Yeah, I was 10. And then just growing ever since. So he's into real estate. He has about I think 9 properties.
13 right
13,
now.
see what I'm saying?
Double digits.
I'm about to sell off 1 to 2.
So let's get into it. Let's talk about.
Wait, I do want to get into how I
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, so because I think we were you know, we had just started the real estate group that we was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and Deli brought in his cousin. He was like, yo, this is gonna be our mentor, show us the game and things like that.
Yeah.
And that time, I think I was in the middle of buying my second home, and I seen the real estate agent on there, Folaji. I'm like, wait, why do I know this? Like, I know this name from somewhere. But I was like, nah, it can't be who I think it is. So then, like, we're going through the transactions and things like that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, all right, let me Google. I was like, let me Google. I was like, oh snap, that is. So it was crazy because like as we was doing this real estate thing, he ended up being like the seller's agent when we went to closing, and then that's when we had met up, and it was just crazy from there.
It was
It was crazy.
It's crazy how life works, man.
Small world.
Yeah. So let's talk about. For me, I was telling somebody else, I like to talk about the background.
Yeah.
For how you got into what you're doing. So let's talk about your upbringing, your background, and yeah.
Oh man, appreciate it again. You guys having me on, man. I was excited to come on. I was
Yeah.
like, when these guys gonna call me anyway? Get on the show. For me, my parents came over here when I was 5 years old, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved to Philly, then Michigan, and back to Philly. Then fast forward a little bit, my mom and dad got their first property in Roxborough.
Nice.
And that was the first, family property. And it was just a good thing because my mom had that vision. She was like, I'm going to buy property.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about this, they didn't come from any wealth, you know what I'm saying? And I still shout out to my parents this day because I look at what they accomplished and I'm like, man, y'all accomplished this with nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I should be way ahead of the
Yeah.
game. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my parents. But they bought their property, and then fast forward, I go to college, got my degree in electrical engineering, got my MBA from Drexel.
Shout out Dragons. Yeah. Shout out to them.
And so my parents ended up, I moved to Jersey, after I graduated college. Then they were like, oh, we want to come to Jersey too and get a big house. So, but they let me kind of play with our childhood home. They were like, Folaji, you just manage it.
Yeah.
Get tenants in there, you do what you want to do. So I was like, cool. So I'm in there, I'm like, yo, I like these recessed lights. How do you put them in? So I just used it as my playground and started, putting in lights and doing floors. And I was like, I want to upgrade this kitchen. And did that, and all the while finding contractors and we're going to talk about that too, going through the heartaches and struggle of that. But I kind of learned, like, okay, you know what, I can do some of these things, and this is a little bit fun, actually. So I ended up putting some tenants in there, and then the property that I got in Jersey, I basically kind of started finding contractors to do little upgrades here. I want lighting here. I want to hang a flat screen TV, which I paid way too much back then to hang a flat screen. I could do that myself. But, you learn these things as you go along. And then what really happened was that I had a girlfriend, and, we were shacking up. But it didn't work out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Great person, we just didn't work out. So I'm sitting in this beautiful townhome in New Jersey, and I'm like, I don't really need this big house. You know what I'm saying? I don't need this big house. I was like, you know what, I'm going to rent it out and move back in with my parents, you know what I'm saying?
Smart.
Now, it's funny because a lot of people won't do that, right?
Yeah.
Never.
They won't do that because they're thinking, oh, I have to portray this image. But my mentality was, yo, if I can save on mortgage and rent, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then, Shay, I was one of those dudes where my parents wanted me in the house.
Yeah.
Because,
Same.
Yeah, they're like, we
have
know,
story about
one,
that,
I'm chipping in on what I need to chip in for. Their car needs to get taken to the mechanic. I got you. Groceries. Y'all need a ride here. Like, they loved it. So they're like, come on back. So I went back. And then I was like, okay, now I'm stacking some more dough. I was like, yo, let me buy another property. So I bought a condo in Philly, right? Bought a condo in Philly, so that was cool. And then I was like, all right, let me buy another property. But at that point, I ended up getting married. So I bought another property. But, that was kind of my vision of starting to see, okay, this can be something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And here's one, I don't want to forget to say this. And when you talk about real estate and why you would pick real estate over stocks, to me, I agree with you when you talk about it's kind of a sure bet.
Yeah.
If you play the long game.
Yeah. If you play the long game.
If you play in the long game.
Play in the long game, for sure.
It's when you try to get into those flips and different things like that, that's when you can lose, and I'll talk about that because I've lost and I've gained on that. But with the long game, I've never lost.
Yeah.
I've never lost.
You can't.
You can't lose.
Yeah.
And the profits in the long game, they're just good. They're good. So ended up, was married. all this time I was accumulating these properties, I was working as a project manager in the energy industry, because that's my degree. And that was cool, and it afforded me, you know, a good lifestyle. It afforded me,
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, so it did. It was good, but all the time I just knew in my heart that I have an entrepreneurial spirit, you know what I'm saying? And I just knew that at the end of the day, at some point, that this just wasn't it, you know. And fast forward to now, so, you know, I'll share my age, whatever. I'm about to be 43. And just recently, I transitioned to real estate full time.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
So,
congrats! Let's cheers to
that's a perfect
quitting
one.
corporate America.
That's
major.
And doing your own thing.
That's major.
Appreciate it, man.
You know,
Major.
So, transition to that, but it took a while because it wasn't an easy transition. People talk about the jump, and it's not for everybody, but I mean, you guys don't know how free I am right now. Like, just to be on your podcast, All Things Money, and be able to talk about real estate and not worry about, my boss is going to see this. It's going to be like, well, weren't you supposed to be turning in that report? You know what I'm saying? Nah, like, this is, it's just a freeing thing, but it is scary. But I thank God, because I think all things happen for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And I probably wasn't ready to jump until now, just because of all the things I've accumulated in knowledge and things in the industry. So it's been good, man. And right now, it's always a good time to get in real estate. I know that people will say, okay, well, you know, interest rates are high. You know, the market is this. There's all these things going on. But to me, it's always a good time to invest.
Always a good time
to invest.
Always a good time.
Yeah.
Always a good time. But I do have a follow-up question. So, like, you were working in corporate America. You were working this job, and you were accumulating properties while you were working. You mentioned you have 13 properties. So, I guess was there a number set in place where you were like, you know what, I'm done. I can.
Once I reach this number.
Once I reach this number, I can quit and I can rely on this cash flow.
That's a great question. And I'm not gonna hear and sit here and lie to people, right? That's one of the things that social media will do, right? They'll lie to people. People try to portray this image. Right? There was one thing. This guy Ryan Ingram on Instagram, and also Myron Golden. They talk about being a millionaire on paper. I don't know if you know about that, right? And basically, you're looking at your assets, and you're looking at your liabilities, and you're looking at
your network.
Yeah, your network, right? And you're like, okay, if I did liquidate everything, would I be earning? So that's one thing. But they also talk about a virtual millionaire. It's like when you actually bring in about like $6,000 a month passive income. Then honestly, you're kind of like a millionaire because of the interest that, you know, your money would accumulate and stuff like that. So for me, it wasn't that I was like loaded with a lot of money. It was more so I was just fed up with corporate, yo. I really was, yo. And it wasn't, I'm telling you, I had a 6-figure job. It was nice. It
you
just,
were getting it.
Yeah, it was just that in my heart of hearts, like I would go to work, I would wake up on Monday morning, and my job was not a bad job. I'm like, this is what I got to do today. It just wasn't me, you know what I'm saying? And it was funny because through time, I would just like kind of in my mind and in my spirit, I'm like, God, I want to do real estate. I want to do real estate. I want to do real estate. And then finally, the opportunity just kind of came up at my job where, you know, they hired a consultant. There was a transition. And they're like, well, okay, this might be the time for me to bounce. You know what I'm saying? And it all worked out. I was able to finagle, you know, a little package and everything like that. And but it was really what I wanted to do in my spirit, yo. You know what I'm saying? And although it was scary because it's not like I had all this money just sitting liquid and I'm good. But after that jump and after a while and it's just been a couple months now, but I'm like, wow. I am actually able to take 8 hours out of my day to focus on real estate.
What I really want to do.
Yo,
I know.
8 hours is crucial.
I know.
Dude,
it's crucial.
I was just telling my brother that, and I was like,
crucial.
I didn't realize how impactful that would be. Even today, You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get here at 11:30 like y'all told me, but I was already in Philly today, this morning. I was already out there with my contractor. He's a good contractor, but he doesn't drive. So I was like, all right, D, let me drop you off at this property. Let me help you pick up some material, get him situated, then went home, showered, you know what I'm saying, and then came here. But, that stuff I can do during the week now. Like, it's just, it's a game changer. And I also look at it like, man, I was able to accomplish all this without having my time there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And real quick, and I'll pass it back to you guys, but it's interesting because my mother-in-law, we were sitting there talking last night, and she was cooking some meat pies. And then, you know what I'm saying? So we was talking, and I was like, Mom, I can't even explain the feeling of just like being able to do this right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about the money. I know the money is gonna come. Like, it's gonna come because I grind, I put in the work, I know what I'm doing. But right now, like, even when Monday morning approaches, I got a smile on my face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, I like that you said that because I work like 9 to like 9, Monday through Friday. And I remember I was talking to somebody, and they were telling me like, like working 2 jobs or like it's like a flex. I'm like, yo, there's nothing about it.
It's nothing cute. It's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing sexy about it.
Yo, it's not a flex at all. I'm like, yo,
that's a whole other segment.
That's a flex.
It's not a flex at all. Like, I'm like, yo, my time is I don't have time to do anything I want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have time to do anything I want to do. If I do, I gotta sneak away for a little bit.
Yeah, right.
I was trying to look at some property on Friday.
Yeah.
I was gonna sneak away. I was gonna tell my manager or whoever, like, yo, I'm going on a break. Let me go look at this property real quick. Like, I just gotta do things in the background. I gotta multitask. It's just not a flex. It's not cute at all. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's hard when you have a job to do what you really want to do. You know what I mean? So,
Wait, B, what was the question?
The viewers have a question.
Okay.
What's the best way to get involved in real estate?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Okay.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah. No, I was gonna ask. I can answer that question right now.
Well, okay. So, I guess I'll pop it off and then we can just go off that. Since we're talking about real estate, and since I just want to give you your accolades and your flowers.
Oh,
you know
for
what I mean?
Yeah.
For somebody that has a wife, has kids, lives in a big house.
Yeah.
Was making 6 figures for corporate America.
I just want people to about the dinner that I missed. I didn't come to that dinner that y'all had.
Oh yeah, when Yinka had came.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want people to put things into perspective.
Yeah.
They just may hear things, but I want them to actually digest.
Yeah.
You have a wife, you have kids, you have a big house. You were making, you 6-figure job. You left that because of real estate. You know what I mean? You was making enough money so you have responsibilities. It's not like you like me who I could do whatever. I'm with the wind. You know what I mean? I can leave and go to Chicago tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have responsibilities, but you made this choice. I know a lot of people that are not leaving 6 figures. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I know a lot of people who are not leaving half of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To your point, though, and I'll share this too, right?
Yeah.
Real estate is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not for everybody. At least in the capacity that most people think of practicing it in, right? So for me, it was just my inner spirit. Like, I'm an entrepreneur by nature, and I got into this. And yes, there's money in real estate, but my thing is not necessarily even about the money, right? Obviously, if there was no money, I couldn't do it to feed my family. But it's just I got a passion for it. You know what I'm saying? I got a passion for it. So I was talking to one of my good friends, cousins, Ozzy, and I was like, if I was to stay in my corporate job in 1 year and I got promoted to director or VP, I would still feel like a failure because I'm not doing what I want to do. I would not be happy. You know what I'm saying? So for people that want to get into real estate strictly for money, that's a kind of a different ball game. If you're just looking to invest for profits and generational wealth, you can do that, but I wouldn't encourage you to leave your 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? That's when you find, other avenues to invest into real estate. But yeah, to your point, if I was to be doing real estate and even made less money than I made, I would still be happy because I'm free. I'm doing what I was designed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
If I can jump
Go
in,
ahead.
so like,
Mhm.
kind of bringing to your point, Folaji. So after after I graduated from graduate school, I moved back home. Parents loved me. They say, "Yo, you always have a place to stay here."
That's what's up.
And but I didn't like where I was living at, so I was like, I wanted to leave and I wanted to rent. But Mom, she was like, "Yo, if you're gonna leave, like at least own your own place." You know what I mean? So that's what she kept saying. But I was very fine with renting because I wanted to leave, but just kind of that repetition of like, yo, I think you should own your own place. And then with my mom, she would like kind of talk to other people so she talked to my cousin who owned real estate, and then she talked to me and was like, own your own place, buy your own place, don't rent, go there, and then things like that. So it was like, I personally, I didn't want to do it. Like I was just like, nah, it seems like a lot, but it was kind of, so it's always those additional influences that have on you. But yeah, my parents, just like you, they loved me there. They were happy. If everything went left today, I always have a place to stay. I always have.
And that's the best thing.
Yeah.
To have like a, they always say shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
And then if you fall on a cloud, you still, you know what I mean? At least you in that realm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, what should I invest in right now? And I always have or had a difficult time answering that because I don't want to tell you invest in this stock and it plummets.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? With the economy right now, but I feel like you said it earlier, it's a buyer's market.
Yeah.
So, this episode I want to encourage the viewers who are maybe a bit hesitant or like on the fence on like buying a property or looking into real estate, that maybe you should really look into it and consider it because it is a buyer's market. You know what I mean? And like you said, you can't lose if it's a long-term play. But I was having a conversation. I know we're gonna wrap things up in a bit, but I was having a conversation earlier this week on stocks. We're gonna switch it up a little bit, and we were having a discussion based on, and I may do a hot take on this. Some say, as far as stock goes, that a long-term play can equate to greediness.
Yeah, it can be.
So like he was saying, he invested in the stock, and he wanted, I guess, for it to keep growing, all-time high. You know what I mean? So he can, I guess, take his profits out. So for example, let's just put things into practice. Let's say Bitcoin, or let's just say Dogecoin, because I'm gonna use myself. Of course, I invested in Dogecoin at an early age, maybe like 1 cent, 2 cent, or whatever. Eventually got to 75 cents.
Yeah.
People were calling me greedy because I didn't take my profit out maybe at like 50 cents. You know what I mean? But I didn't see it as that because I see a long-term value, right, I should say, in the coin. So I considered it as patience. You know what I mean? Patience is a virtue. You know what I mean? And I was equating. I had Bitcoin back in like 2015, 2015. And nice. I gained maybe like, I made like $175 of profit.
Yeah.
And I withdrew. This is back in 2015.
Expensive
Because I just saw a profit. I'm like, all right, shit, let me just withdraw. Well, what if I had waited until 2020?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be I wouldn't even
So I wouldn't be here.
So I wouldn't be talking to you guys, man. You wouldn't be my friends. But
I wouldn't even be here right now. You know
but
what I'm
here's
saying?
the thing, though, D. I think with stocks, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna start. But I feel like it's different, right? Like what my example was an option, and options are short term plays.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
right.
Whereas Dogecoin, just like you said, did you really invest in it to be a long term play? Or were you like, okay, I think, and this is the whole thing about stocks, and again, I'm not no expert, but I think a lot of people get into stocks and they don't really have a strategy.
You gotta know end goal.
Yeah,
You
like,
gotta
what's
have
your
an
end
end
goal?
goal.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
You gotta have an end goal.
And with that, I had an end goal. Because I'm like, okay, if Bitcoin can go from wherever it started to 75K or wherever it ended or peaked at, then Dogecoin can maybe amount to that. Also,
yeah,
Elon Musk was backing it.
yeah.
One of the richest guys on the planet.
I will say this.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of emotion out
Uh-huh.
when you have a targeted price, an end
Right,
goal,
right.
and things like that. Because you like, okay, boom, this is what I said I was gonna do, and now I'm out. And
out.
you know,
Right.
I had, you know, my profit, whatever, you know, and stuff like that. Because it can turn into, there's a fine line between greediness and a long term
Right.
investor, especially if it's a volatile kind of stock and
And
things like that.
to your point,
Yeah.
it's kind of like hindsight is 2020, right? This is Monday morning quarterback, right? Dogecoin did what it did.
Yeah.
It increased, yada yada. It could have been the converse, right? It could have lost money, right? So, and this is the thing about the stocks, and I'll pass it to you guys who are experts. But one thing I do, I gotta give my wife a shout out. Like she likes stocks.
Yeah.
But she digs into it, right?
Yeah.
She'll be
Got to.
at night reading.
Yeah, put you
got
in a
to.
hole.
Yeah, she'll be at night
Yeah.
reading about, okay, this company has
Yeah.
this FDA
Mhm.
drug, and I'm not just saying she skims. She like goes
Yeah,
in.
you have to.
You know
You
what
gotta
I'm
read
saying?
the financial statements.
Exactly.
You gotta,
But so many people don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
have to. It's just like if you're applying for a loan and things like that, what are they doing? They're looking at your credit history. They're looking at this, that, before they even award you this money. So it's like you have to do your own due diligence and invest in the company, because everything investing is transaction. Everybody is for profit. It's business. You know what I mean? It's not personal. It's business, and you gotta do your due diligence. You gotta read up on it. You gotta, you know, do these things. I did have a follow-up question for you. So you know, let's say someone buys, you know, their first home. So how do they get their second home without, you know, the
FHA
FHA?
loan.
So how did that kind of transition
Right.
come to? Like, how did you kind of gather up that money? Because once you become, you know, an investor and it's not your primary, you looking at maybe 10 to 20% down.
Yeah.
So for someone, because the game is a little bit different
It is.
from that. So it's like, how did you kind of like?
No, great question. You guys are asking some really good questions. One thing I'll say too, to your point about the seller concession, and what he means by that is a seller wants to sell their house, and you know, you might need $6,000 to really make this transaction close. So the seller might say, okay, you know what, I'll just concede $6,000 off my profit, or he might raise the price $6,000,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
you know you get $6,000 back, right? So again, it's all fluid. My point is, if you got $2,500 and you think you can get $2,500, you need to be looking into buying a home, all right?
Yeah.
For your first home, all right. But to your question, second homes, right? So there are a lot of ways to skin the cat on this. One is that if you have your first home, you may have equity in your first home,
Yeah.
right? So equity means, guys, what your home is valued at versus what you owe on the mortgage. Let's say the market right now has your home valued at $150,000, which means I probably could sell this home for $150,000, but you bought it at $100,000. You put your down payment. You had it for a couple of years, so now you might only owe $90,000. You got $60,000 of equity in your house, right? So you can't take all $60,000 out, but you can take some of it out, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you take 20, 25, 30,000, and then you can buy your next home. You know what I'm saying? So that's a HELOC, or pulling equity out. So it's a lot of ways to skin the cat. Sometimes even now I see it's 10%. It doesn't have to be the 15 and 25% if it's not a multifamily. So that could be it. Again, you take advantage of the seller assist. Also, a first-time home buyer, doesn't mean that you have necessarily, you're only buying your home for the first time. Yeah, first time home buyer might be, okay, different programs where, okay, you bought your first home, you're no longer living in there, you want to buy another home.
Right.
So now you've rented that home out, and you only got to do another 3% on the next home. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I actually flipped it, to your point. You know what I'm saying? So that's a great question. A lot of ways to skin a cat. And to me, it's just about, if people are really interested and people want to do something, there are so many ways to do it.
Right. And just to kind of piggyback off that, because that's how I got into my second one. So like the first one, well, you know, the VA, I didn't have to put anything down. Second home I did FHA, I had to do like 3%, but then I put down more to bring down the interest at around 3% because it was a little bit high at that time. So then the primary, so it's like there's different strategies, like to your point, where you can just, you know, if you buy your first home, wait a year, then you know what I mean, then you can qualify, you know, use it again for another 3.5, and then you can just keep doing that each year and just keep, you know, just keep racking up each year. So
doing your thing right now.
it's so many different strategies towards it.
He's going crazy right now.
Grunt take, yo, talk to me. This
Oh yeah, I do, yeah.
It's a lot, man. But you know, shout out to you on that. Congratulations on your properties.
Thank you.
Real quick story, and I want to talk to you about your post. But guys, here's the thing: the long game. You might say the long game is too long, but the honest truth is that 10 years from now is going to come.
Oh my gosh,
it's going to come.
It's going to be here.
It's going to be here. And the first property I got, I didn't have this kind of experience, but that property, when I got it, I moved in there and I moved out. I wasn't making no money on the passive cash flow. I was probably losing $100, $200 a month. But somebody was still paying most of my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm building equity. So with time, what happened is now, 15 years later, I was like, wow, I've paid off a lot. Oh, man. Another game changer, 15-year mortgage. You know what I'm saying? At some point, I was like, let me put this on a 15-year, right?
So you can choose 30 or 15.
And that started paying the interest down slowly. So anyhow, when I started to get into this for real, I was like, okay, let me refinance that property. I took $90,000 out, and I bought 4 properties with that $90,000. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, cheers to that.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
So that's the thing.
You gotta drink it after you.
Y'all got me into what I love. So I was gonna think about that. But I know we don't have too much time. But let's talk about what you said about the whole property management.
Oh my goodness, man! So I had posted this post recently on AllThingzMoney. Follow, you know, on Instagram. But it was like a vent session because, you know, at first, like my initial experience, 6-7 months, it was really easy. Like I was just collecting checks. I was like, yo, everybody should tap into this. It's mad easy. But then next thing you know it, I started getting hit with problems and things like that in situations. And the most recent problem was just, you know, a downstairs neighbor kind of complained about my tenant upstairs about the noise that they were making. It was a legitimate reason. I don't want to get into the details of it, but like it was legitimate reasons. But it was just that, you know, I had to deal with the situation. So she was looking at me, and this was the property manager of the condo situation. So she was like, you know, Shayla, as the owner, what are you going to do about it? And I told her, you know, I'm going to call the tenant. I'm, you know, smooth, like, see what's going on. Because I didn't even know what was happening. And I was like, also, I'm going to call the downstairs neighbor to kind of smooth things out. Downstairs neighbor said, you know, they liked me when I was there and I was quiet and things like that. So, you know, it was kind of just dealing with that situation. And it's not that isolated event. It was just a cumulative because, like, you know, as you mentioned, you know, you working full time, things like that. And for me, you know, I'm working, I'm in school, I got other things going on. But now when I'm in real estate, it's like, you know, you're dealing with other people's livelihoods. These are, you know, their problems become my problems. So it's like, you know, now it's added on. Now I gotta I gotta deal with this. You know, I'm like, yo, now it becomes my problem. So I'm like, all right, how can I resolve this situation and things like that? Because I don't personally, I don't mind if, you know, tell me, oh, you know, the water heater is broken. Okay, I gotta pay that off, which I did. You know, $300-400. Boom. These are not made up stories. I'm not reading this from you know these things I'm actually dealing with. But like when you're dealing with a disagreement between your tenant and a neighbor, now it becomes something a little bit more deeper because now you're dealing with conflict resolutions, and now like you got to deal with, okay, how can we resolve this issue and things like that, because the noise situation it's legitimate reasons, you know what I mean? So then personally I had to reach out to a contractor. How can we get some soundproofing, you know, things like that? So, you know, that's about $3,000+ you know, and I'm not even living there, so it's not even for me. You know what I mean? So it's like issues I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
I don't even, you know, I got a list of problems, but it's not, you know, and things like that, but it's, you know, that whole conflict resolution that you deal with and things like that, but, you know, it's fine. It's something that, like, you know, you sign up for, but I'm not going to sit here and say that that's been my experience this whole time, but it's just like, you know, it's just some stuff that you gotta, you know, that you really gotta deal with. But I guess I would say, so for you, you have, you know, 13 properties. So how have you been, you know, managing, and not the time that, now that you don't work your 9 to 5 and this is full time, but how was you doing that 9 to 5 and dealing with 9 to 5? Because I know you got stories. At 13, I know, I know you had stories.
No, but and it's funny because I deal with some of the same issues you deal with. But the one thing I've always said is that your situation is a little bit different, and I've dealt with that too. But a lot of people are scared because of like repairs. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know you said the water heater thing.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed is that at one of the properties I bought, the tenant was calling me all the time. This is broken, Folaji. This is broken. But eventually, I fixed all the stuff. Then the years after that, she never really called me. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to be able to get through that hard time.
Exactly.
You know
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And you might have to shell out a couple $, but once everything is fixed,
then that's
once everything is fixed, then that's good. But then, to your point, I don't know. Like I'm a nice landlord.
Yeah.
But I've also been victim to like people taking advantage.
Oh,
of me.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, now I'm doing this full time. The stakes are different. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the corporate money coming in. Like, so,
I see
bro,
what you're saying.
your rent is due today.
Oh my God.
If it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I can jump in for this. Okay. So during like Christmas or whatever, those are the times. And for me, I'm a nice landlord. Someone would say I'm a pushover. Like, oh, can I submit it this weekend? No late charge fees, nothing like that. I understand. You know what I mean? Like for me, I grew up, my parents, my mom, she was on Section 8. I get it. You know what I mean? I got what I wanted and things like that. So I understand. And if it's situations where, like, if I got to pay something because something is broken, that's no problem. That's an easy fix. Let me know how much it costs. I'll reimburse you, or, I'll pay for it myself, and things like that. But I think it gets to but when you actually got to deal with, like, just conflict resolution, that's where it gets to, like, an actual problem. Because, like, you talking about water heater, the heater wasn't working, there was a leak that I had to, send my insurance information or anything like that. So it's like several different problems that happen. But I think sometimes when you get to a conflict resolution, so my question, so like, are you managing, because you don't have a property manager, it's you dealing with
so
everything.
What happens is, it kind of depends on a couple different things. Like, are you willing to shell out the money for a property manager?
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing.
Because here's the thing, like, I know guys, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I got contractors that I can say, yo, Tim, I gotta, a leak, go check it out. Check me
Yeah.
like, yo, Folaji, all right, cool, just give me $80, right?
Yeah.
But property management company might hit you with like, yo, that's
Oh, yeah.
$350,
Dude.
$450,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of depends on the time. And if you
Mhm.
don't have the time, then I would say you try to get the best property manager you can. Understand that they're gonna charge you extra for that property,
sure,
for that
yeah.
service. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you on that.
Yeah.
But then it also, as you start accumulating, and you guys will, because you guys are young and you're already into this game. But you know, at the point where if you're working a full-time job, you got 10 properties, you might just say, I'm just gonna get a property manager.
Yeah.
And need it. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't have the kind of time. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And then lastly, to your conflict resolution, I've had issues where, you know, you have the person upstairs and downstairs, and this
Oh,
person
man.
is smoking weed, or
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. And you kind of go back to the lease and try to find them if you
Yeah,
can,
yeah,
because
yeah.
then you don't want that other person leaving. And
Right.
it's tough. Look, guys. I'm not gonna say the real estate game is easy. It's not easy. There's nothing in life that's easy, but it is worth it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's worth it for
Yeah,
sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I didn't want to post that to discourage people, but it was just like a kind of like, you know, an eye opener, because a lot of times people go on Instagram and they see like, I'm a real estate investor, and
It's
it's
just transparency.
it's like income coming in, and I don't have to deal with it. Like, no, it's some real problems, but like with anything, with any success or
Yeah.
anything like that, you're gonna go through
Yeah.
problems. Like and that's why I wanted to be like, yo, it's problems. I'm dealing with,
I love that.
you know, I'm dealing with problems, but
Yeah.
you know, I still want to do it. But
Right.
you know
and,
what I mean.
and to wrap things up, I have 2 questions, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to get into real estate? And then I'll ask my second question after that.
So you just have to understand what lane you want to get into real estate. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? How deep do you want to get into it?
Mhm.
Like me, I knew in my soul that like I'm gonna do real estate heavy,
Mhm.
and you know, and I'm finally practicing that, right?
Mhm.
But if you just want to say, you know, I want a couple of investment properties, then look, stay in your 9 to 5, yo. If you like your 9 to 5, please stay.
Oh
Don't
my
just
gosh.
don't quit your 9
Yeah.
to 5. There are
Yeah.
ways that people can do this, you know, because if you get a couple of properties, you're building passive income, generational wealth. It's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to you. So I would just say you have to know like how deep you want to get into it, right? Some people might just want to be real estate agents. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be an investor, but do you want to go into it heavy? Like right now, I'm a GC. You know what I'm saying? And I GC a lot of my own projects. That's heavy. You know what I'm saying?
General contractor, right?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so you know, you just gotta know how deep you want to get into it. But the one thing I will say, if nobody, I mean, if you're watching this podcast and you don't have a property, try to get your first property, because
Sure.
that's gonna affect not just you but your generation. You know what I'm saying?
Second question: where can we find anybody? Can find you at
Oh,
social
definitely,
media?
man. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Folaji, FOLAJI _FADEYEB, FADEYIBI, Instagram, and then also on Facebook. And then website is FADEYEBproperties.com. And, you know, if you're looking to invest in the Philly area, hit me up. We're doing flips, we're doing rentals, even a little bit of Airbnb, man. So,
Yeah.
Love it.
Little quick take. I'm going to him for my first property.
Hey,
So
that's what's up.
we've been doing business.
definitely.
So
man.
yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
get something in. So
100%.
quick question. Right now, as of right now, I think it's like March. What's today's date? March.
Fourth.
So would you recommend the Jersey market or Philly market? What would you recommend?
That's a good question.
Philly market all day, man.
Philly market.
All day.
Because I remember we went to go look at one property.
Yeah.
Yo, why are you not looking at
It's some good multi-units, and like I be
Yeah,
getting some
yeah,
notifications on
yeah.
on Zillow. I ain't gonna lie.
Really is good. No, we're gonna
Yeah.
even just from this podcast, we definitely gonna work. Oh, last thing I'll say is, man, if you got a community of people, you know what I'm saying, we shouldn't do things in silos.
Right.
When you can kind of bring people together, people you trust, people that have one common goal, you're gonna go a lot further. You know what I'm saying? Because right now I don't have a 9 to 5, so I can help these cats out. You know what I'm saying? While they doing their 9 to 5, I'm doing what I love. I'm like, okay, let's be successful. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Philly is a good market. property taxes are much lower in Philly. The barrier to entry in Philly is lower. Population growth is there. A lot of New Yorkers are coming to invest in Philly, so Philly's a good deal.
Love it.
Love it. Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
I enjoyed the episode.
Absolutely.
We can have one cheers to end it.
Facts.
Yo, you guys are all right, man. I can't wait. You guys brought me on too early, man. I was waiting for you guys to have like 1 million subscribers, man.
We're gonna get there.
That's for sure,
man.
man.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, All Things Money, we out.
All Things Money. You heard?